We were everyone was wondering, even though you're in St. Louis, why we couldn't have you in. You guys, Riley's first fight in NHL was against you. So
Yeah.
we wanted to keep them.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
We were laughing because I was like, I remember that fight. You were wearing 33.
33.
You had the mission helmet
Oh yeah.
in Continental Airlines, I believe.
Yeah.
And remember Johnny Stevens was standing because he was like kind of grabbing onto my arm and everything. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm shadow boxing for Riles. But
hey, I will say this real quick, Riley. That year, maybe it was the next year after that, when it was at the Spectrum. I remember going in and I was running through a couple guys off the bat, or I'd have really good fights with really tough guys. And I was getting a little cocky. And we were at the Spectrum, and my buddies came up they're in DC. They took the train up, and a couple of my buddies came up, and I fought you for the first time. And you're that lefty, and you were strong, and you embarrassed me, dude. You got me spinning, and you're throwing uppercuts, and I couldn't get going on you. And that was like one of my first wake-up calls. Fighting you the first time at the Spectrum, not in the NHL. It was and I didn't really know
I remember.
you, and you ragdolled me, and it was very embarrassing, and I didn't like it.
Well, who does? Yeah,
you were a little pissed off too. You looked pissed afterwards. You were rattled. You were mad.
Yeah.
Yes, my buddies are in town too, and I'm like, yeah, good. I needed that though. In all honesty, like sometimes when you're doing good, you just need to get smacked around a little bit. Now you're like, oh, okay. Now I can't be that you. Sometimes you have to be humbled to keep your rhythm going, right?
It's so true. Yeah. Getting humble now and then is a good thing because you're only as good as your last fight, and you can kind of lose reality a little bit when you're winning and everything is great and you're on top of the world, and then all of a sudden it's like, shit hits the fan. But if you call that a bad loss, you could learn a lesson and not get your ass totally beat and break your face or something like that. It's a simple lesson, and I've lost my fair share too, right? So it's just part of the game and part of the job, man. And you show up and fucking every night's a little bit different, right? I mean,
but you still got to entertain, though. So even if we, so it's like, well, just go fight, guys. Well, it doesn't work that way. Not only do you have to fight him, we got to put a show on. So if you just like, I fight and I just hold on and you beat me and I lose every fight, guys are like, okay, whatever. Now you're gonna get sent down. You still got to perform. So it's like an entertainment aspect too. So yeah, you could just show up, but we had to do things and get the crowd into it and get your team into it. If you look at the fights now, and I get it. And that's fine. The skill's up there. I get all that. I've accepted that for years now. But like the fights are there and they'll throw each other down. And once in a while they'll go toe to toe. And I get that. But the bench is just like, whatever. All right, let's move on. But back when we did it, we had to do enough to where you could look at that bench and be like, yeah, because otherwise, why would you have us on there if you're not pumping your team up?
Yeah, right? No, right. It's a really good point. It's different animal back then. And the entertainment piece was a real thing. And I think you were probably one of the best at it, to actually prolong the fight. I mean, you had an amazing endurance. You'd wait out and take, a flurry at the start, and then you'd weather the storm, and then you come back strong. But like, you were probably way more about the entertainment than I was. I was just going about self-preservation. just unleashing. I've tried for sure. But different animal for sure. And I thought you were one of the best at, that having that balance of like being a legit fighter and bringing the energy and entertaining, because you drew the fight out a lot longer than most guys did.
Yeah, and guys wanted the lineys to come in, and you're like, nope, stay away. I used to love that, man, when I watched
I had to do that. I had to have a style because I'm still 5'11" and 3/4. Like I gotta go. If I'm gonna go, I can't go toe to toe with you because you're gonna get 4 inches of power on me every single time. I'm gonna get corked. So I have to have a game plan. What am I gonna do? I can throw left now. I learned how to throw both. I learned how to box at a young age and do hockey fight training. I figured that out at a young age, going to different gyms and stuff. So I'm like, I have to have a damn game plan. When I went with you, not the first time, but the first time in NHL, I went right with you against you. And I went left with you, and we kind of went, and then I found my way, and we went toe to toe. Like I had a game plan against you, and so like I had to have that. Or these big guys, they're gonna catch you, and you're gonna get ragdolled, and you're gonna get caught with one. So There was a lot to it, man. It really was. It stresses you out, to be honest with you.
Throwing with both hands. Both ready to go. Cote with Fedoruk out of the lineup. He knows he's got to step up. And he was saying, Cote was saying it's been tough for him to get a fight. He said, my first thought is I get a hit, and if that doesn't happen, I want to get a fight. And he was predicting that maybe Janssen would oblige him. And Cam has stepped up and done just that.
Well, on the 10-point must system, I don't think there's a lot of doubt.
No, that was he had to give the edge to Cam Janssen on that one.
Boy, did they ever throw a lot of punches.
With both hands as well.
Wasn't it disgraceful?